Now, as far as the introduction of the distributed system is concerned, now we know that we have a network of computers available everywhere. For example, we have internet, we have mobile phone network, we have corporate network, we have factory network, campus network, etc. There are many networks, and all of these, either separately or in combination, share the essential characteristic that makes the distributed system. So you can define the distributed system as a system in which hardware as well as the software components located at the different places communicate as well as coordinate their actions. And this happens, means the communication and the coordination used to happen, or action is being coordinated and the communicated only by passing the message. So the computers that are connected by a network, now they may be distant away, or they will be lying in the same building or in the same campus, even in the same room also. So we have a communication network. You can consider the distributed system as we have a communication network, and that communication network, every different computers are connected, and every computer is not a dumb terminal. It's a dedicated computer containing CPU, containing memory, containing disk. All the facilities are available with that particular computer. So a distributed system is one in which components located at a network computer communicate as well as coordinate, and their actions happens only by passing the message. So what kind of characteristic that distributed system has? Now we have three characteristics. The first characteristic is concurrency of components. Now, if you talk about the network of computers, now computer program normally run concurrently, and user do their work on its own computer, and other will be doing their work on their computer. And by doing this, the work in their own, sharing the resources, they as such as web pages or the files, whenever they found it necessary. Now, the capacity of sharing the resources can be increased by adding more and more resources to the network. Now, the coordination of the concurrently executing program that share the resources is also very important for its effectiveness. That is the meaning of concurrency of the components. The components may be many things, including the computer hardware as well as the software. The second characteristic is lack of global clock. Now, when the program needs to cooperate, they coordinate their action by exchanging the messages. Now, close coordination often depends on a shared time at which the program action occurs. But it turned out that there are limited, or there are a limit of accuracy with which the computers in the network can synchronize their clocks. If you are sending a message from one place to another place, it's not necessary. The time when you are sending, the same time it is not going to be received. It will be having different time. So it is very difficult to synchronize these clocks. because we don't have any global clock with which all the computers can work, depending just because that with the different scenario in which the different systems are working. So there is a direct consequence of the fact that only communication is possible by sending the message through a network. Now, the third important characteristic of the distributed system is the independent failure of the components. Now, all the computer system can fail. कोई भी system fail हो सकता है. But it is the responsibility of the designer of the distributed system to plan for that particular consequence for the possible failures which can happen. Now, distributed system can fail in other ways also. Fault in the network result in the isolation of the computer that are connected to it. But it does not mean that they stop running. In fact, what happens, the program on failed computer may be able to detect whether the network has failed or usually it has slowed down. So what is done in the distributed system, if there are a failure of the component, since the things are distributed in such a manner, if one thing is going to fail, other will be taking that into the action. Now, failure of the computer or unexpected termination of the program is not immediately known to the rest of the components with which they are communicating. Each component of the system can fail independently, leaving the others still running. This is the main property of the distributed system. So that is why we have the motivation for constructing and using the distributed system. It starts from a desire to share the resources, which characterizes the range of the things that can be usefully shared in a network computer system. It extends from hardware components such as disks, printers, as well as software defined activities such as files, databases, and all kinds of data objects. It may also include the video frame and the audio connection, etc., because nowadays it is very popular, and with the advent of and the latest technologies which are used on the internet, it is possible to do that. So if you compare the distributed system with the standalone or the centralized system, you will find that distributed system consists of these following components. First is multiple autonomous components in comparison to the centralized system in which we have one component with non-autonomous part. Components are not shared by all users. It is not necessary that all the users will be sharing all the components. Whatever they are in requirement, they will be shared. But in centralized system, all the components are shared by all the users. Resources may not be accessible, but in case of centralized system, resources are available. It may be possible that resources are not accessible. They have to take permission. Direct accessment nahi hai. Software that runs in the concurrent processes on different processors. In centralized system, there is only one processor which processes the processes. But in distributed system, we have a software which runs in concurrent processes on the different processors. Because if anyone needs some kind of the process to be executed by a certain processor, it may be possible that few parts of that will be processed by a certain CPU, CPU number 1. Other component of that process may be executed by some other resources, some other CPU, and so on. So different processors are used to execute the concurrent processes. we have multiple point of control as well as we have multiple points of failure, and in comparison to the centralized system. So with this, I think little bit idea of the distributed system might have come into your knowledge. So the next is the examples of the computer system, distributed system. We have certain examples. Any kind of network can be called as a distributed system. Even your mobile network is a distributed system. So the first one, its example is local area network and the intranet. You can say it as the intranet. Database management system, automatic ATM networks, internet, mobile, and ubiquitous computing. So let us talk about the local area network and the intranet. And intranet is a portion of the internet that is separately administered and has a particular boundary that will be configured to enforce the local security policy. Now, as this particular figure shows, a typical intranet component, intranet composed of several networks, several LANs linked by the backbone connection. The network configuration of the intranet, the controlling of the configuration of the intranet is the responsibility of that organization that administer it, and may vary widely, ranging from LAN on a single site to the connected set of the LANs belonging to the branches of the company or other organization in the different countries also. So an intranet is connected to internet via a router. This intranet is connected to the internet via this router, which allows the user inside the intranet to make use of the services elsewhere. It allows the users in other intranet to access the services it provides, means the intranet itself. And many organizations are in requirement to protect their own services from the unauthorized user. And for that particular reason, this plays a very important role. The router and the firewall plays a very important role. So the role of the firewall is to protect an intranet by preventing unauthorized access by the other places. And it used to do by which? It used to do by filtering all the incoming and the outgoing messages. So it is the responsibility of the firewall to protect. So the main issues which are arising in the designing of the component for use in the intranet are: the first one is file services are needed to enable the user to share the data. Firewall tend to restrict the legitimate access of the services. The third one is the cost of the software installation as well as its support is also a very important issue. So this is about general idea about the intranet. Then we have database management system. You have already studied database management system, in which we have different machines, we have certain process, we have network inter-process communication, we have operating system communication to the external devices, and all these are interoperating with itself to give the desired result. So this is another kind of distributed system in which we have 3 databases which is being monitored by the database monitor, and for a certain particular or applications we are using database engine to fetch the information and then it is being displayed. The third example is the automatic teller or the ATM machine network, in which we have a teller machine, and these teller machines are controlled by the controller, and computers are used for that particular, which is further connected to the banking organizations. And this computer holds the banking account data through which these computers are connected, which is controlling the teller machine. And this is standby. So this is also a kind of a network. This is also an example of a distributed system. And then internet. मेरे ख्याल से इंटरनेट के बारे में बहुत आपको बताने की जरूरत नहीं है, but still, since it has come into the context, it is the part of the context. So we have in this internet we have intranet, local area networks which are connected to it. There are internet service providers. We have certain backbones which provides the services from the back. We have satellite link through which this internet is going to work. So internet is a vast interconnected collection of the computers of different types. It is not necessary that all the computers are there. May be servers, there may be desktop computer, there may be other systems, and the program running on the computer connect to it and interact by passing the message. And how it is possible? With the help of internet protocol. The internet protocol enables the program running anywhere to address messages to the program anywhere else. Internet is also a very large, you can take an example of a large distributed system which enables the users to make use of services. It makes use of services of what? Such as www, that is World Wide Web, emails, as well as the file transfer. Now, this set of services is open-ended. It can be extended by addition of server computers also. It has a collection of intranet as well as subnetworks. And ISP are those companies that provide the modern link to the individual user, enabling them to access the services anywhere, as well as providing the local services also, such as email, web hosting, etc. Now, the intranet are linked together by the backbones. Backbone is what? Backbone is a network link with a high transmission capacity, employing the satellite connection, fiber optics, and other higher band circuits. Now, in the internet, multimedia services are also available. So, multimedia services are also available in the internet, which enables the user to access the audio as well as video data, as well as the video conferencing with which we are moving ahead. And the last one is the last example is the mobile and the ubiquitous computing. Now, this has come into the picture with the advent of the technological advancement, because it is the technological advances in the digital miniaturization, smaller devices, and wireless networking. This has led increasingly to the integration of small and the portable devices into the distributed system. The devices can be laptop computers, it can be mobile phone, it can be handheld devices, including personal digital assistant, that is PDA. It may be a pager, it may be video camera, it may be digital camera, anything. It can be wearable devices such as smart watches. It may be device embedded in the appliances such as washing machine, hi-fi systems, cars, refrigerators. Everything is possible. So the possibility of many of these devices together with their ability to connect conveniently to the network from the different places makes the mobile computing possible. So this is another example of the distributed system. So I think I am clear about little bit about giving the introduction and its characteristic of the distributed system, as well as the I'm also able to explain that what kind of different examples of this distributed systems are. So let us move ahead. Uh, let us discuss about the advantages of the uh, distributed system, because if it has been it has come into the picture, naturally there will be certain advantage over the centralized system. However, I have explained little bit about that, but even though with the certain parameters based on which you can tell about the advantages of the distributed system. And the first one is the information exchange. The total idea is to exchange the information, because there is a need of exchange of the information. Exchange of information in between different computer. Of course, it also arises in the 1970s also, when everybody is having work frame, having a large computers, mainframe computers, and they want to share their one organization. Every organization is having mainframe computer, and they want to share the information. And so they come together and they talk about the need of wide area network through which they can connect together and share the information in between the different people. But later on, the computers become very smaller as well as cheaper. And a single right now a particular organization may have many computers also. Sometimes even one computer for each person working in a particular organization. Even though the exchange of the information between the personnel or in between the organization requires, and that is why it is needed autonomous computers to be connected together. So that is the first advantage, that is information exchange. The second advantage is the resource sharing. Although we have cheaper computers, and now it is very feasible to equip each employee, each person to have a laptop or a desktop, their private computers. But same is not true for the peripherals. As far as the sharing of the peripherals are concerned, printers, storage devices, disk units. So on the smaller scale also, each computer rely on the dedicated servers to supply it with the compilers as well as the other application programs. Also, it is also possible that memory of each computer is usually insufficient to store the large collection of the data or the application program also. So computer may rely on the dedicated nodes for the printers as well as the disk spaces. So a network connecting those computers in an organization in a wide scale is referred to as LAN, that is local area network. The third one is the increased reliability through application. Now, distributed system have the potential to be more reliable in comparison to the standalone system, because they have a partial failure property. Partial failure property का मतलब ये कि same node of the system may fail, but while others are still operating correctly, so they can take over the task of the failed component. And the failure of the standalone computer affects the entire system. So there is no possibility of continuing the operations in that case in the centralized system. And for this particular reason, the distributed architecture are a traditional concern in the design of highly reliable computer application or the computer system. Increased performance through parallelization. Now, in this distributed system, we have multiple processors available in the distributed system. So the presence of this multiple processors, it opens up the possibility of decreasing the turnaround time for a computational intensive job by splitting the job over the several processors. It is not necessary that the processes may be divided into different parts and other process will be executed by the different. And last one is the simplification of the design through the specialization. Now, the design of the computer system can be very complicated, especially if we consider the functionality is whatever functionality is required. So the design can be simplified by splitting the systems into the modules, and each of which implements part of the functionality and communicates with the other modules. So you can find out in a very simple manner. Suppose you are designing, you have a certain problem, and it is asked to solve the problem, and you know that the problem is very big, so the solution of the problem requires many modules. So instead of writing a code for the whole problem, why not to divide the problem into the different modules, and individual modules will be developed by the individual team, and after the development getting the solution of the individual module, why not to combine all these modules all together? And that is the meaning of simplification of the design through the specialization. So by splitting the system into the modules, each of which implement part on the functionality and communicates with other modules. So it is simplified. Designing part has been simplified.